Hi guys, today is December the 29th, 2016, and today marks exactly 1 year since I had my total left knee replacement surgery done. That brought my total surgery count, my total orthopedic surgery count to 11, and that last surgery, as you all know, is a total knee replacement. I'd already had my right knee replaced earlier in the year, and this surgery on December the 29th was my third surgery of the year. I actually had to have a second surgery after my right total knee replacement because I did something the surgeon specifically told me not to do, and I got my incision wet and it stopped healing. So as a precautionary measure, he went back in and cleaned it out and made sure that it didn't have any infection in it, which it was fine, but it just set my recovery back a little bit. So on December the 29th, I had my left knee replaced. I showed up at the hospital giddy and excited because for the first time in my life, this was the last surgery. Every surgery I'd had since the age of 4 was with the anticipation of having another surgery done. Initially, as a child, they were to straighten my bow legs, and it was such a different process then. I won't go into that now. So I had that particular surgery twice, and once I became an adult and developed arthritis, I started having a surgery every few years to clean out the arthritis, to fix any tears I had in the cartilage, or just things of that nature, basically just trying to hold a knee together until I was old enough to have total knee replacement. Because I found out over 15 years ago, both of my knees needed to be replaced, but I was just too young at the time, so it was a waiting game. So on December 29th, I got my left knee replaced, and that was the last surgery for me. It was a moment I've been waiting for a very long time. It was grueling and a hard process, but I made it through it. And in 2016, I started out the year with straight legs for the first time in my life. It still makes me emotional to think about all the things that I went through and all the things that transpired in 2016 because of that surgery. It was life-changing for me. But before I get into how life has changed, let's talk about the recovery from the left knee replacement just a little bit. So again, I'm 1 year out. I'm walking every day, walking further than I've ever been able to. Well, not ever, but further than I've been able to probably in the last 10 years. So the recovery from the surgery was long. It was challenging still, even though I've had many orthopedic surgeries. The one thing I want to really get across to people is that every surgery is different. Even if you have the same type of surgery with the same surgeon and the same facility, the recovery from it is going to be different because if it was both, say for instance, both surgeries were on your knees, the knees were in different conditions prior to the surgery. You have aged some, so your ability to heal has changed. All of those things play a role in recovery. So the recovery from the left knee replacement was challenging. I knew what to expect, so I put in a lot of hard work, and it truly paid off. How has life changed since I got my knees replaced? It's unbelievable. It's just phenomenal. So I've experienced so many first in 2016 things that I either hadn't done in a decade or things that I've never done. So in 2016, I went camping for the first time. My brother and sister-in-law and I went with my three nephews, had a great time, but that was something I'd never done because I didn't trust myself being in the woods on uneven terrain, because I wore a leg brace and I used a cane, so those things just weren't possible. I also started hiking for the first time. Since I was a child, my brother used to take us hiking when we were little kids, but now I'm doing organized hikes with a meetup group. I went hiking in the Blue Ridge Parkway for Labor Day. I've been on several other organized hikes since then, and in the spring of 2017, I'll actually be taking a class to learn some orienteering and things about navigating when you're on the trail alone. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I wore high heel shoes for the first time in 10 years. Now, for someone who doesn't wear heels or who has never liked heels, that's not anything major, but I always loved heels. And I haven't been able to wear them in probably since 2005, and maybe even longer than that. It wasn't a large heel, but it was a 2-inch heel. The outfit that I had required or needed a heel, and I wanted to wear one. So that was a learning experience for me. I learned that although I can wear heels now, my knee is not totally healed on the inside. The healing process takes 12 to 18 months and sometimes a little longer depending on what kind of condition your knee was in prior to the surgery. My knees were in horrible condition. It takes a longer time for me to heal because they had to do more work. So I was able to wear the heel. I danced that night. I had a great time. But the next day, my knees were sore. Now, let me explain. They were sore. They did not hurt. There's a big difference. After having my knees replaced, there is no more arthritis pain. Sometimes they get sore when I do different things, or when I increase my hiking miles, they get sore every time. And here's something else funny about that. I recently asked my brother, because he had total knee replacement the year before I did, how long did it take for his knees to stop being sore when he would do new activities. And his response was, my knees never got sore. So that just shows you that every person's recovery is a little bit different. Now at this stage, my right knee is almost 2 years out. It'll be 2 years in March. That knee doesn't get sore at all, but my left knee still does. So I'm anticipating that with more time, it'll get sore less frequently and with less activity. So the healing process is going wonderfully. Other things that I've done for the first time. Well, I mentioned that I danced. I've been dancing a couple of times, and you just don't realize the little things that you give up over time. Recently, I was in the kitchen cooking, and I realized that I was singing and dancing around as I cooked, which was something that I always did when I was younger. But I didn't realize I had stopped doing those things because over the last decade or so, whenever I cooked, which became less and less frequently the voice my arthritis got, I was focused on cooking and getting out of the kitchen as soon as I could because my knees hurt. I was just in a tremendous amount of pain, so I wasn't singing, wasn't dancing around. I was just trying to get a meal prepared and get out of there as quick as possible. But I've started singing again. And although I've always been happy and joyful, and because that's just the way I am, that's my life, that's my mantra, it feels different now. I feel almost giddy sometimes. So 2016 was a great year for me. Just phenomenal changes. Oh, and another thing was prior to 2016, I hadn't written any books, but in 7 months' time, I wrote 3 books. Someone recently asked me how was it even possible for me to write 3 books in 7 months. And as you all know, they were on arthritis and total knee replacement, the preparation for total knee replacement and what to expect after total knee replacement. And I kindly responded to him, like, it took me 7 months to write those books, but it took 45 years of experience to get the knowledge that went into those books. So what seems like a quick process to you was a lifelong process. Didn't occur overnight. I don't regret anything that I went through. I don't feel sad about anything that I went through. But those 45 years, they were a struggle. And but right now, life is so bright and so beautiful. I would not have imagined this just a few years ago, just last year. So on January the 1st, 2016 was the first year that I had with straight legs. And I anticipate 2017 being filled with many more new exciting adventures and things, just taking full advantage of, like doing things that I've never done, being open to things that I've never done. And I'm just hoping that you guys have a phenomenal 2017, and that if you do have arthritis and if you do need total knee replacement, that you'll do whatever is necessary to either decrease your pain or go ahead and have the surgery that you need. Don't live your life in fear. Fear of what might happen or the pain that you'll experience after total knee replacement. Yes, the recovery is painful. I will not lie to you. It is challenging. It is painful at times, but the pain after total knee replacement is temporary. You've lived with arthritis pain many years. Sometimes some people I've met, it's been 10 years, just as long as I have, and they are not ready for the surgery. So, but I want to encourage you to do the things that are best for you and to encourage you to live life full out. Don't get to 70, 80, 90 years old and wish you could have done things differently. You have the opportunity to do things differently now, so do it. So I hope you have a phenomenal 2017. I am just in a couple days now. I'm going to a New Year's Eve party for the first time in a really long time, and I'm looking forward to it, because most New Year's Eve over the past 10 or 15 years, I spent them at home. I was already in the bed by that time, because I was trying to make sure I could get up the next day. Spent 9 or 10 hours sleeping, just trying to decrease the pain level. But that's the old story, not my new story. And now I'm rewriting the pages in my new story. Guys, be blessed. I love you. Have a great year. Bye-bye.